J.Kirk. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing all right. And yourself?
Yeah, man. Pleasure to have you on my show. How's the music coming along right now?
Man, it's coming along good, man. Right now, like me and my team, man, just having a lot of creative sessions. Really just allowing God to use everything He's done in our lives to really help us to be able to create music and be able to share a testimony and a story with everything we're doing. So it's just been a lot of good stuff going on, coming out. Hindsight Music Group, that's what I'm a part of, and I'm just excited to see everything that we'll have to present all in His timing. So it's been great.
Yeah, man. And these 3 records that you're playing tonight, is it from something that's going to come out or something that's coming? Actually,
Yeah is actually the first single. I got a project that'll be dropping about hopefully first quarter next year. It's going to be called The Process, like an EP. Just kind of telling, because like last year, I actually took a little break from rapping. There was a lot of frustration and confusion going on, and I knew that wasn't where God wanted to have me. So I was like, well, let me just kind of take my time and let Him sort out everything. So I just kind of took a step back from everything and just kind of let Him navigate. And so the process is kind of me coming back and telling my story of what it looks like to really just kind of me trusting in Him and where He wants me to go next. So Yeah is a part of that. Checking and Over Here, those are just songs, just kind of like in between songs, singles, put together and put out, and just for somebody to enjoy in the meantime.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. You got the new project dropping next year, and what was the group that you said you're part of? Is it a record label or a group?
It's a record label. Me, my good friend D'Angelo Williams, and another friend Lazarus came up. We wanted to put something together and really start to build a platform out in our area, not just for us, but for there's a lot of artists out there, and just create really a family and a network. And based out of that, we was like, man, what if we just did a record label? And me and my homeboy D'Angelo were painting in the studio and trying to think of things. And I was like, man, I was looking up, and Colossians 3 verses 1 and 2 came to me. But we kind of just settled on Colossians 3:2, where it says to set your mind on things above. Because I'm like, if our mind is up high, focusing on God, then that's exactly where our sight is going to follow. That's where we're going to focus. So it's like mind high, sight high. So we just kind of came up with high sight. And just that's what we've been going. And from there, man, just building a team, doors opening. So it's been a fun journey just in this little bit of time of this year.
Yeah, man, I'm sure it is. That's really the main thing, I guess. Like, set your sight on God, and then everything else will fall into place. I guess that's the main thing for everybody's lives, isn't it? Obviously, you're working on that new music right now. But what have you been doing like this year as a whole? Like, is it?
Rambling on, but yeah, it's been cool, man. Recently, I actually had the opportunity, me and my team, No Malice, he was formerly at Eclipse and gave his life to Christ, and his last video, So Woke, we had the chance to be the editors on that, so I was able to touch and get his video, help him get his video out. So that was just a cool opportunity that kind of fell in out of nowhere. So being able to build and grow and learn from him, hear his testimony. So it's been a nice little experience.
Yeah, man. And how long you been in the music scene yourself?
Music as a whole, I probably started about on accident in 2005. This is back when I was still doing things for the world. I hadn't given my life to Christ, so just kind of doing it, and I found out I enjoyed it. But then after a while, I started to get dull because I realized, like, I can't even share. Once my daughter came into the picture, I can't even share this music with her because I know it's destructive. But at the same time, I didn't want to stop doing it, so I had to fight what was going on inside of me. And then November 2010 is when I gave my life to Christ, and when that happened, I knew things had to change, and I wanted to give the gift that He gave me back to Him. And I just started using what I did to glorify Him, but it wasn't even trying to get a platform. Like, I did it for, like, years after that, really just keeping it to myself and a couple close friends and family. And it's just when people pour it into me, it was like you could really bless somebody and encourage somebody and build up somebody who you might never come in contact with if you really started to put your music out there. And I prayed about it, listened to it, and I've seen the fruit of that. So I say all in all, that's about 12 years I've been doing music, but it's been 7 I've been doing it really for God.
And how have you seen people's reactions to your music, like in the recent time of doing it?
You hear the story, you hear it's encouraging, it's a blessing. The one story that sticks out in my mind the most, and I told on a recent interview, I'm in Virginia, and I got a message on Facebook from a lady who had discovered my music, and she she told me about her goddaughter who had recently been removed from her parents' home because they were on meth. And her and her sisters were her brother and sister was kind of distraught, and she was only like 12. And she was like, well, a Sunday or two ago, she gave her life to Christ, but she's still fighting a lot of anger and bitterness from her parents and everything she's had to go through. And she said, I had your music on in the car one day, and she turned the music down and looked at me with tears in her eyes and like, God, Mommy, who is this guy? I want to hear more of his music because it helps me think about God and not all of these other negative things that help me focus on where my life is right now. So she was like, that's why I'm messaging you to wonder if you would mind giving her a CD. So I'm like, of course. I'm like, let me know. Are you right down the street? You in Hampton, Virginia? I'll drive it to you. This lady was all the way, I forgot what city, but she was in Georgia. And she had came across my music online, and that's how she started listening to me. So
that's really powerful, man.
And the girl couldn't believe. Yeah, so it was amazing to see that I was able to touch somebody's life and encourage them through a terrible situation. Somebody I would have came in contact with personally.
Yeah, that's an amazing story, man. That's kind of the fuel to you keep doing your music, isn't it? Really.
I would say it's a lot of times people have the notions or the perception that, following Christ means that you have to get yourself perfect first. You hear a lot of people, they don't want to come to church, don't want to get to know Christ because they don't have it all together. And I want to tell anybody who's listening that if we had it all together and we had everything perfect, then we would really keep Him. The honest truth is that we do. This world, everything in it is falling away. No matter how much trust we put into money, people, or even things, they're all flawed. And we can't take them with us when we leave. And if we don't have rule over our life, whether we stay here or we leave, then somebody else has to have that authority. And that's who we trust in. While it's nice to have a beautiful life, it's nice to be happy. If that's all that we're here for, then that's even pointless because it's finite.
Yeah.
Christ isn't just about getting we want or what we desire to have. It's cool when we get that plus, but the main thing is that our souls are saved eternally because this life is small in the grand scale of what eternity is. So us realizing with that eternity view what we're going to Him for, and then realizing that we need Him once we accept Him, and it's what the bumps and the trials of this life, they aren't as bad because we know what we're doing it for, who we're standing for, because without Him, a lot of this stuff is meaningless. Actually, everything's meaningless if there is no foundation of it, and we find that in Him. So we go to the Son so that way we can have permission to be able to come before the Father. Because He even says no one can come to the Father except through Him. There's not many ways to get to God. The Bible says that road is narrow. So while I may be tough, and even for the people who are having a good life, who think they don't need them, even that good life is going to come to an end one day. And will we be able to account for and be able to control what happens next? I think not. So that we need Christ from the lowest to the highest.